Hey guys, hi. I don't know if we're going out live or not, and I'm wondering if there's any sound. So I hope that there's sound. We're at the Old West End Festival PorchStream, we're calling it, for the show that you're here too, Tom. There you are. Tom is here.
We're both here.
We're doing this live during the Old West End Festival from the porch, like a couple of crazy people. And we've never done a live stream before, so the chances of this going technically right are pretty slim, I think.
At least this time around, but we'll see what we could do down the road.
I hope not. I hope we miss. I hope we don't miss it. But this is our first outdoor podcast, so that means cigar cast is what that means. So we were thinking we'll make this last the length of a cigar, which would be a great thing if we had an outdoor studio all the time. But it gets cold here in Toledo, so. All right, before we get into this, we're going to light up the cigars. Actually, Tom, can you talk for a minute or while I light mine?
Sure. All right. Brady is going to be conducting the ceremonial lighting of the cigar. First time officially this season outside. We're also testing out his porch because the weather is just too good for that. Mm-hmm. And here comes our wild sound as seen from the street.
There you go, Tommy.
Heard from the street. Oh.
So we are live from the porch at Old West End Fest 2025. And we're doing the podcast right now if you're watching this live. And if there's no sound, then I guess we're just we're recording a podcast while people watch us mime things out on TV or on the live stream, which they may not even be doing. Because it turned out at the last minute, you can't live stream apparently, unless you've had an account for a long, long time, and we haven't, and we don't have enough followers, and I don't know. It's kind of stupid, but it is what it is.
Because I thought it would have been vetted a long time ago, or established at least that you're a legitimate channel.
Exactly.
Of some sort,
yeah, we're not doing porn or anything. We're not killing people on. What are they worried about? I don't know. I can go live on my phone anytime I want, but a channel where we made a specific thing for. We can't do it. So this is live streaming on my page right now only. There will be an edited version where we're going to throw in a bunch of footage. Tom and I met up today at the Roper Romp. I don't know if you guys know what a Roper Romp is, but everybody dresses up. Tom, had you heard of this before?
This is the first time the day that we did that promo and read that's the first time I ever heard about that. And I was, romper room? What are you talking about?
Romper room.
What it is?
I see Tom and I see Brady. Well, the idea of a Roper Romp is that everybody, for some reason, dresses up like Mrs. Roper, Helen Roper, from Three's Company, which is like kind of a dated reference for the young folks out on the. We had a lot of people coming up to us and saying, "Why is everybody wearing red wigs?"
Well, that's how I spotted you. I was trying to find you guys because I've never seen one of these before. I didn't know it was a thing to begin with, but apparently it is. And I spotted you a block away, about 20 people with red wigs.
Yeah, there were way more than that though. Once you got there, right?
Right.
Including the most adorable one, the one who won the what do they call those expensive cups that they sell at Target that everybody wants? It's also
those stainless steel
Stanley tumbler. Was won by my 7-year-old son Parker, who was the smallest and cutest by far of the Mrs. Ropers. So I was out there in a little muumuu or kaftan or whatever they call it. And in a red wig, and we'll show some video or stills, whatever it is we can come up with when in the edited version of this later in the podcast version. I don't know that anybody's going to watch us live. I don't, whatever. We thought we'd try it. It'd be fun. It's fun to be out on the porch. It's fun to be enjoying a cigar.
And I showed up just like this, so I didn't win anything.
No, you won lamest participant, I think. We didn't. We're going to make you something, maybe out of cardboard and some glitter later. But if you guys are out and about and watch it on your phone for some reason, or you're at the Old West End Festival, come by. We are north of Virginia on Robin Wood, and there are 2 huge crosses in the front yard, which sounds bad. At first, I think most of our neighbors thought we were either super Christian or about to commit some kind of a hate crime. Yeah. When we started pouring gasoline on them, but we didn't do any of that. So anyway, one of them has a pair of dark wings and a studded halo, and the other one has white wings on it. So it's kind of just a little photo op. You can be a naughty or a nice angel or whatever. It's a thing. It's probably blasphemous to some people, but we're just silly. There's no disrespect intended to anybody.
I'm not sure what category that would fall in. It's just a static display. It's not doing anything. It just has some wings attached to it.
I don't think it's a big deal. Anyway, it was just, we thought it'd be fun to get people out here or to kind of draw attention to the podcast. So if you're joining for the first time, welcome. Thank you for checking us out. We have been this is my first Old West End Festival as a resident of the Old West End. This is my new porch. This is my old Tom.
Yep.
Same Tom. He doesn't live here, but sometimes,
This is part of his porch at the other angle right here behind me.
Great.
Beautiful house, by the way. I got to tell you that.
We love this house.
Absolutely phenomenal house.
Soon to be purple. I hate to tell the neighbors. And not like we like purple or anything.
Well, but
see my shirt? Oh, is that backwards?
I guess it is backwards.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Therapy is not enough.
I need to fight my dad.
I'm trying to read it backwards. But
there's a story behind it. I'm not telling it on the podcast.
Okay.
I'm not telling it.
Getting back to the house and the house color, since we're on that subject, I do believe it's still actually correct for the period, though.
Yeah, purple might be a Victorian color.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I believe it
not
is.
Everybody agrees with that. But the thing is, that's the one thing they don't control. We are in the historic part of the Old West End, which means that there's a lot. It's kind of like living in one of those expensive neighborhoods where you have to get things approved.
HOA.
Yeah, like an HOA. There's basically an HOA here, but things have to be historically accurate. So you can't get like vinyl windows. Right. You can fixture and replace your windows, but they have to be like period windows, like wood windows, which is pricey because they're all custom. I mean, all these windows are different shapes, different sizes. There's not two screens in this house that fit in the same different windows, I don't think, or maybe, a couple, but most of them are different and very custom size. Right. They're not your normal standard sizes. So it is, it's a challenge.
And what year is this house again?
This house was built in 1891.
91.
Yeah, there's a plaque up above where you walk in that says 1891 on it. People think it's our address.
Right, yeah.
We're going to move that when we paint the house purple. But that's probably a next year thing at this point. But this is the coolest neighborhood in the world, man. I think you're starting to get a little bit of a hint of it, coming to the festival and everything. The people here, the neighbors, this is like an artsy community of weird, wacky, cool ass people. And I love that. That's exactly where we belong. My wife, Shannon, and I, we belong here. My son, Parker, we all belong in this neighborhood because we're all just crazy enough to put on red wigs and caftans and big sunglasses and big jewelry and go around and be Mrs. Roper. Mm-hmm. There was one dude, by the way, at the, and I'm sorry, I don't recall his name, but there was one dude who was being Mr. Roper. He was in a robe.
I did see that
Did you
guy.
see him? Yeah, I told him I didn't know if he'd have time for all of us. But it was fun running through the crowd and saying, Helen!
Yeah.
Helen! Because everybody's head turned because you're all dressed like Helen Roper. If you're young and you don't know what Three's Company is, Google it.
Yeah, simple as that. But somebody did mention that they ought to incorporate some of the other characters from the show. Yeah.
That would be fun. There was somebody there at the first stop who was dressed like, what's her name with the Thigh Master?
Oh, yeah.
Suzanne Summers, right? Yeah, I was dressed like Suzanne. He had the Suzanne Summers wig on with like the two tails kind of and the poofy hair. But he didn't have boobs. And I feel like that was the most memorable thing, at least as a young man, that was the most memorable thing about Suzanne Summers at the time. No offense, other than the Thigh Master, which came out later.
Yeah.
I have an interesting story about the Thigh Master. You got...
Oh,
there you go.
Thanks, Ash.
I'm grooming you. I don't know if grooming you. That sounds even worse nowadays. Yeah, there's other meanings for that now. I have a funny Thigh Master story. Remember, Suzanne Summers came out with a Thigh Master. It was this thing you put between your legs and you squeeze it. It was spring loaded, and it was to work and get your thighs going. Well, after that, like, she was looking for a sequel and to make some more money, probably. So she did the Ass Master. Do you remember that? It was the same thing but backwards. Hey guys,
I've heard of it.
Okay, so it was the same thing but backwards. You pushed your legs out and instead of in, and it resisted you on the outstroke instead of the instroke. Well, I was with my one of my exes. I was in a Walmart, Target, something like that, and I saw all the Ass Masters up on the thing. I said, honey, I think that would be that'd be a great nickname for me. I think you should from now on refer to me as the Ass Master. Mm-hmm. And she chuckled or whatever, or smacked me or did whatever, until a few weeks later when we were at Thanksgiving dinner with the family. And then from across the table, she says, "Hey, would you please pass the mashed potatoes, Mr. Ass Master?" Oh, no. So right in front of my great-grandmother, everybody. She probably had nearly had a heart attack. Poor lady. Hi, guys. So, yeah, that's my Suzanne Summers Ass Master story. But I got a weird thing that I want to show you, Tom. This is not, and I want to show our audience too. But you'll look at it. You can look at it on the screen so that you can see it even better. But
want to punch it up over here? Oh, there you go.
What do you see?
Looks like some type of a Victorian magician.
Turn to the side, right?
Yeah, with looking at the right side of his face, with his arm outstretched, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now look at that. Now it's a woman's face, I think.
I did it that way because if you do it the other way, it's almost impossible to see it at first.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult to see it. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I can maybe I can put this up on the screen even bigger, but yeah. And when you go back, it's really hard to make the switch because now you see the face, right?
Just like hitting the cut button over
there.
Like
it's crazy. And I honest to God, this kept flipping back and forth for me when I first saw it. So much that I thought that maybe it was a video and they were tricking us. You know what I mean?
Now I see the magician guy.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
Do it one more time. Flip it over. Okay, got it. It's locked in. All right, she disappeared to me. I just see the first guy.
Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yeah, now I see her upside down. Wow.
Yeah, really that's cool. Weird. So that's kind of fun. I like that. Completely unrelated to the Old West End, just kind of cool and old. I did do a little bit of research on the Old West End so that we can talk about some stuff. You want
to go to that stuff first, or do you want to talk about how your weekend started, or what would actually flow better?
I don't know. My week, I'll tell you what, this is our first time being residents of the Old West End during the festival. Now, I've been to festivals before. My wife's from Arizona. She had not been to an Old West End festival. She is blown away by how big this is and how many people participate, which is really cool. I mean, it's neat. It's a great neighborhood. I love the people here so much. You guys, the people that I know, I love you. The rest of you, I love you too. This is a really cool place. I love our neighbors. I love the place. I love all the stuff that happens around here.
Me being an outsider, I still blended in somewhat. They
accepted you.
Yeah, they accepted me.
Well, you had a little Mrs. Roper on your lap, so they probably...
because of the golf cart situation and
we had a 6-passenger.
Maxed out.
We had a lot of Ropers.
Yeah.
So how did my weekend start?
How did it start?
I'm trying to remember.
I wasn't around,
I think I'm having trouble remembering it because a lot of what the Old West End Festival is as a resident is drinking.
Really?
Yeah. I was a little intoxicated last night.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I know.
What
it's
happened?
insane.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I think I'll be all right. No.
All right.
I actually was, my wife was very upset that I was not more hungover this morning.
Oh, because
she
must have been. Yeah.
So what happens is, you got the festival. People can have yard sales and they do all this stuff, but then there's more than that going. And then down at the corner, they've got a beer garden. They've got live music. People do live music on their porches. All through the neighborhood, just like live bands, acoustic stuff, anything. I mean, it's really cool.
Let's get back to the beer thing really quick. How legal was that exactly?
How legal was what?
To having the beer. No?
What? Who having a beer?
Oh, I thought they had a setup or something.
Yeah, they got a setup down there. It's legal.
Okay, it's legal. All right, just checking. All right.
Tom
so if I were to look,
skeptic.
I could find paperwork on it.
Sure, I'm sure. Yeah, the city has to approve all that garbage. So, yeah, the city definitely approved having beer at this festival.
It's a Dora, right?
Yes.
Right.
Whatever that was. Yeah.
Designated outdoor recreational area. I think just like they do in Maumee. It has to have special licensing.
I want my Maumee.
That's a Dora area.
I see. Yeah, they have
this is probably a temporary
one. So it's like set. There is a perimeter,
and
you would go into it. But you also, you have to get ID'd. You wear a wristband and stuff.
Yep.
So they're not serving to minors or anything. It's just, but But there's a huge line of food trucks up there next to it. All kinds of crazy, overpriced food, but
Nice.
some of it damn delicious. Funnel cakes and elephant ears and the good barbecue. The good barbecue's on the other end at the on Parkwood. Yeah, it's a really cool vibe. Everything is going on. People are just showing off their art, whether it's music or whether they're selling, their photography or their paintings or their jewelry. Over by the art museum, there is a huge area of vendors. Which, I mean, when I say vendor, that sounds like it's some big corporation or something. But I mean, these are people selling their art.
Yeah, I've been to one of those before.
Yeah, I was reaching for it because I bought a pen. I bought a really cool wood turned pen that I thought was really cool. It must be in my other shirt.
Now, who did those?
I wish I could tell you.
Is it individual?
Yeah, individuals have they set up their own. I'm sure they register and maybe they pay money to be there.
Right.
To have their own place. What do they call that? Where they have
kiosk
like a kiosk or I don't know what a vendor booth, area. Booth would be the word I was looking for. Yeah.
Look who it is.
They have their own booth, and then people can come and check everything out, and they can buy their wares and they can find out about them. There's some of them. Hello, you're okay. I have no idea.
She originally drove off that way.
That was a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're talking about which way.
Which way my most familiar
fled.
Yeah.
Which direction
of flight. The child and the stepmama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally got sidetracked. See, I have ADHD and the meds have probably worn off by this point. But we had really good barbecue. Over on Parkwood, they had really good blues music playing, too, the live blues, which was really cool. I'm trying to learn to play the guitar as we speak. I take lessons from Chuck over at All Star Music, and he's really good. He was like he's the guitar player from Damien, that band was around when we were kids, man.
Oh, yeah.
So he's been at it a while, and Chuck's amazing. I could sit for my whole lesson and just listen to him play. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously, that's how good he is. But I'm learning a lot. I've been trying to learn 12-bar blues, which is just like one of the blues, how the blues it works. You play these chords in this row or this chord sequence. So I've been trying to learn that and practicing an awful lot. But I don't know how I got on that. I sit out on my porch, though, right here, sometimes in the morning and practice. Not because I'm showing off, because I don't think anybody can hear me, but because it's just such a cool neighborhood and it's so nice to be outside and have your coffee when it's this weather, when it's not overwhelmingly hot and humid, but it's nice.
Very comfortable today. Yep.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Picked a good day for it.
For sure. But we've had great weather for this festival.
Supposed to rain. It was supposed to originally.
I thought it was going to rain today, and we thought we'd be out here in the rain, looking at nobody.
Yeah.
But instead, people are walking by and having a good time, waving at us and stuff.
There's an awful lot
asking
of people
for directions.
Waving. Yeah, it makes me suspicious to a point.
Right.
Notice that? They're kind of
That's how it works, man. This is the neighborhood. If you want to be friendly to people, this is the place to do it. Yeah. People are pretty cool. I wave at pretty much all my neighbors all the time because we're a pretty tight little community here. But we ended up last night at Brad and Shelly's house having adult beverages. Mm-hmm. There's a few people, like our friend Troy works with Funky Turtle Brewing. So he's usually got a couple kegs of their whatever they're selling. I was drinking an apricot something.
He lives in a neighborhood also?
Yeah, he lives in the neighborhood. He's got the Magnum PI mustache, everything but the Detroit Tigers hat, because apparently he doesn't care for the Detroit Tigers.
Ah.
I know.
Okay.
I don't know what that's about, but I'm not a sports guy, so I will leave it at that. I'm not a sports guy yet. I'm named after Tom Brady. No, I'm not. I existed before Tom Brady was famous. I'll put it that way. But our names together, Tom Brady. We almost called this
Tom Brady.
Yeah, do it again.
Tom Brady.
Brady. Yeah.
Get
so
it?
we almost called this podcast just to see if we could get some numbers. The Tom Brady Podcast. But then, we figured that would be about as misleading as my Facebook stripper name. Did you ever do that thing where you fill in? It's like I think it's the color of your underwear right now when you do the test. And then that's the other, the last thing you ate. Well, I had just been to Subway. And I thought, man, I just don't think, I don't know. I really feel like it would be misleading for me to sell myself as a stripper with the name Black Footlong. And then this pasty ass chubby white guy shows up, right? So, yeah.
Interesting.
So I didn't use that name for my exotic dancing
man, never heard that one.
career. Oh.
How you holding up?
I'm good. I'm surprisingly decent. This was stressful trying to get the live stream going, and we cannot verify that we don't have enough devices in the room right now to even verify that we're getting audio. In fact, Matt, I wonder if you could on your phone.
Well, let's see here.
I mean, I can talk for a minute if you want, but go
go
ahead and
back
we
to-
can just make everybody sit
So
here.
this is what I'm looking at here.
There we go. Yeah, right there. You're on the wrong camera, though, for that. I mean, for people to see it other than me. Yep. There it is. Yeah, scroll down and see if I'm live, and then if I'm live, find out if there's any sound. Because, it'll probably feed back. Or, I bet it's delayed. I bet it's delayed a couple seconds or more.
I could turn it down really quick.
Yeah. So there's
a little play button on here on that.
Oh,
What's that?
interesting.
What is that?
We'll be live here. Oh, I don't know.
Let me hit that.
Press it and see what happens. You might just join the live. I'm not sure. I don't do a lot. I'm tech savvy and all that, but this is our first live stream. We meant to be on YouTube. YouTube would not allow us to live stream because we haven't had the channel long enough. We don't have enough subscribers, or it was one or both. I think
it popped up with a 24-hour countdown.
Right. Yeah. It said you can live stream in 23 minutes, 23 hours and 56 minutes. And I'm like, great. Well, that's a little late for us. We should have probably clicked that yesterday, but we didn't know. So.
I didn't see that.
Hey, guys.
Okay.
So part of the thing in the Old West
that's
End,
the stuff
too.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. Makes you uncomfortable when people say hi to you?
Makes me suspicious, not uncomfortable.
We sent the neighbors to see you earlier today, by the way. That was a setup.
Oh, was it a setup?
Yeah, the ladies
Okay.
who live next door were going down the neighborhood, and I said, hey, my friend Tom's up there.
Yeah.
And he has no idea who you are.
Right.
So what I wanted them
And
to
I
say...
know they don't know who the heck I am.
What I wanted them to say was, hey, Tom, it's us from the other night, remember? But I don't know what they actually said. That was the joke. That was what we were trying to screw with.
They were
you
very nice. She said, hi, Tom. Hi, Parker.
Yeah.
And then I heard them first, and I wasn't sure where it was coming from, so I went to look, and there they were.
We should live
nice
stream on the
ladies.
Ring camera next time. I just saw it behind you.
That's a good idea. I like that.
What if everybody's ever done that? Or a backup camera on the car?
I don't see why you couldn't do that.
I
but
think
that
somebody
would
made a
be an
movie on a
interesting
backup
gimmick.
camera.
Really? Just
Yeah.
they spliced together a bunch of footage and shots to.
Yeah, well, they
two pieces.
they planned it that way. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Thank you. Part of the deal
Yeah.
in the neighborhood, though, I was starting to say, is you don't have to, but you want to rent a golf cart or have a golf cart.
Holy cow! I wish I was that guy that owned that golf cart company.
Yeah, there
Wow.
are golf carts everywhere. You can only get so many places with a car, and you can only fit so many cars in the neighborhood. So people end up parking outside of the neighborhood because some of the streets are blocked off and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then walking into the neighborhood. That's what I would do before. I would just walk around the neighborhood. But after a while, you get tired, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so much better. You get on the golf cart. We went on the roper romp in the golf cart. That's how lazy we were today. We just were.
See, I don't know how that normally works anyway. You guys convened at the museum.
We did.
Which I did not make it over this end of town in time.
I know. We were hoping you could get a cool drone shot of the gaggle of Helens. Yeah. That would have been neat.
We'll be better prepared next time. Yeah, it's the first, like I said, this is the first time I've ever heard of that, but it looked like it was a pretty fun thing.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it's just silliness. It is what it is, but you stop at a whole bunch of houses on the way. I had to bail out partway through it because we were trying to get the equipment set up for this podcast or live stream or whatever. So I bailed a little bit early, but man, it was fun. It was a lot of fun being dressed up silly and like just the thing that I didn't anticipate that was difficult was finding the people you're with.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody's wearing a red wig and a colorful caftan and, big chunky jewelry and big glasses. And everybody looks, I don't want to say the same, but I mean, they look like they're all...
Largely, they did look the same, especially from a block away. That's how I found you guys.
Yeah. But Amazon's probably like, what is going on with Toledo and these red wigs? Are they reviving Annie? What's going on? I mean, are they doing The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow?
How awkward would it be if you went up and grabbed the wrong Mrs. Roper?
I know. I almost did.
Yeah,
I mean, not grabbed, but I was like sidling up next to the wrong person earlier because I had no idea. But little Parker got an award for being the they had to pick one to give they give that Stanley Cup to the non-sports Stanley Cup, they were like, he's like, oh, I don't know how I could possibly choose. Jeremy was picking. He's up on the thing. I don't know how we could possibly choose one. And then I said, pick the little guy. Seemed to work. But the thing was, it wasn't just me. Everybody after that was like, yeah, the kid, so.
Now, you know what I would do, of course.
What's that?
The opposite.
You would?
I would make the little kid think that they won.
Oh.
And then
well, yeah, but you like
side.
making people cry, Tom.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's your fetish.
Depends on the person. If they're deserving or not.
The naughty cross was going to be a lot naughtier, too. Let me just say.
What happened to that?
There's not enough time in the day, especially once the partying starts. Because what happens is at night, after all of the people who don't live in the neighborhood have gone and all the stuff in the yards has shut down, then they have like porch crawls where everybody goes over to somebody's porch who's got, a bunch of alcohol and beer on tap and everything else. So, you're hanging out.
Is that something new also, or is that something that they always do for
that's been going on forever, I think. And it's really, really wild. Oh, you know what? That might be why we didn't have audio. We'll see what happens.
Well,
I don't know if we do now, but
I'll take a peek.
I just realized there was one thing we didn't double check, and that was the output volume for we were plugged into a headphone output on the board, on the audio board, to go into the video board. And now who knows? But we're recording audio on the board. We're recording video on the video board. I will put them together and put this out as a podcast no matter what. So if you missed any of it, or if it's not working, it'll, if it's not live streaming, which it might not be, who knows? And if it's live streaming, it's only live streaming. Plugged into a headphone.
There's the...
Oh.
How'd that happen?
I fixed it, I think.
By doing that? Why would the audio... does it have to have audio and video for it to come up or something?
I have no idea.
That's weird. Well, there it is right there.
All right. Well, if this just came up for the first time, we're 30 minutes late. But if not, then you've been watching and we didn't have audio. Sorry. But the thing is, we're doing this for the first time and we're figuring it out. And we're two kind of old dudes who, like, put it this way: we're live streaming on Facebook. We're not live streaming on TikTok. So, because, that's just us. Weird. That's our speed. We're the old guys. We almost called this podcast Get Off Our Lawn, because I thought that would be funny.
For a second there, I don't know if that was a delay. I don't know why I was seeing the other camera when it should be on you.
There is a delay, Tom. There's going
to be some delay.
Naturally.
Because the buffering and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it might have been a previous switch. Anyway.
So.
What do I know about?
If you're just joining us, or if this is just come up with audio, we are on the porch, 2300 block of Robinwood, just north of Virginia, and we're doing the live stream version of the podcast. We'll put it together with some footage and stuff about the stuff we're talking about. and it'll be out as a podcast later. But right now, it's we're trying to live stream for the first time, and we think.
What's all this heart stuff that's flying up there?
No, it's just people liking us.
That mean they
I
hate
guess.
us? Oh,
yeah.
they like us.
Oh,
Oh.
They tolerate us. They really tolerate us.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
So if you're watching, thank you. It's good to see you guys. I mean, it's good to have you see us, I guess. I don't know. It's really cool to just be out here on the porch, having a cigar with a buddy,
Very much.
having our normal conversation, but not instead we're going out to 3 people on the internet. Or 4, maybe, if we're lucky.
Can you tell on here by looking?
You probably can on there, but I'm not going to try to reach over there.
Yeah, I
We're
can't
kind of all crammed in
just
here
curious.
with
We could find
everything.
out. We could find out
We got
later.
all of our equipment right in a small area. I mean, the porch is big, but we wanted to be up here where we could see out.
Okay.
Yeah. And my phone and the wife's phone are currently used as cameras for this. So we're live streaming on iPhones. Let's look at some Old West End information.
Sure.
So this is the Old West End, guys. If you aren't familiar with Old West End in Toledo, is one of the largest collections of late Victorian, Edwardian, and arts and crafts homes in the United States. The entire United States, as opposed to the East Side,
That's amazing.
which Newsweek once called the United States' largest white ghetto.
Ouch.
Yeah.
The 05.
I think it's just a ghetto now. I don't know that it's but it was pretty white trashy. I think,
Interesting
back in the
side
day.
note.
No offense.
Historically, though, the East Side
Yeah.
actually was the place to be at one point in time, even around the time as the Old West End when in its early beginnings. It was really high class.
I think what it comes down to is you got the refineries over there
Right.
busting out all that weird smelling gunk into the air, and it just stinks, and you don't know what kind of chemicals you're breathing in. So
And those obviously came later from after it was
Sure.
already established. But at some
Right.
point, I don't know. I'll have to
Yeah.
do some research on the refineries too over there.
So our historic district here was listed with the National Register of Historic Places in 1973, 2 years after my old ass was born.
What was?
This historic district that we're
was
in right now. It was designated.
It was
as-
designated
with
as
the
historic.
National
Okay.
Register.
Wow,
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
exactly. Yeah. So
So it was already historic then.
it's a bunch of doll houses. I mean, it's like big. These are big houses. Our house has what you would call the servants' stairs in the
Yeah.
back.
Very
the
steep.
small, turny kind of small, like dangerous stairs that they would have the servants stay in the back and near the kitchen and not bother the help. They didn't want the help to bother the
backstage
people.
access
Yeah,
areas,
exactly.
so they're not seen.
Yep. They're help us to be heard and seen. I don't know yeah, that's kids, right? Kids are supposed to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
So the homes here, date from 1870 to the early 1900s. This one, like I said, 1891, 130 years old ish.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And I'll tell you what, nothing in this house is even, but it's all settled. It's all
Yeah.
going to stay that shape probably
Yeah.
forever now because they don't build them like this
No,
anymore.
not even close. It's a very,
mean,
very solid house.
Back when 2x4s were 2 inches
Actually,
by 4 inches.
2x4s.
And yeah, back when they were using solid good wood and, plaster and lath for the walls and, all of the stuff, hardwood floors, like actual hardwood floors, not linoleum or vinyl, pieced together stuff that's supposed to look like it.
Are you familiar with horsehair plaster?
Horsehair plaster. Wait a minute, I've heard of that. I think through our process working on restoration.
You might
here.
even have some of that in your.
Might.
Yeah.
Was the horsehair to hold it together?
I think so.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the fibers in it.
Okay. That's kind of cool. Yeah. They're also doing this cool project on Delaware. Is it 624 Delaware? 924? I think it's 624. It's called the 624 or whatever the number is. Delaware project. I'll try to link it in the description if I remember. Where they people in the neighborhood are all banding together to restore this house at that address. And you can go and volunteer, and they teach you how to do this stuff to volunteer. So now you can take that information back and fix your own house.
Nice.
So it's kind of cool, right? Like if you wanted to, if they're doing like the windows this weekend, you can go and, or this week, you can go and volunteer and learn how to do this stuff. And then when you go home, you can work on your own.
I like that idea. It's pretty legitimate, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm talking too much. My cigar's going out.
It's a good problem to have.
Mm-hmm. The Reynolds Secor House in the Old West End here is considered one of the finest examples of Queen Anne architecture in the neighborhood. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if I'm familiar with that one. We're going to have to find it. And then the Jessup Scott House, Jessup W. Scott House, is the home to Toledo's founder and is a prominent landmark in this neighborhood.
That is probably the oldest house, isn't it?
The Jessup Scott House? Yeah. I don't know.
Didn't he kind of come in and start?
He was the founder, so very, very possible. I'm not sure. We got the Toledo Museum of Art, and that is literally 2 blocks up the street.
Yeah.
You can just walk to the museum.
Half a mile, 0.6 miles, I think, from here.
Is it? Okay, and that's just on the eastern edge of the neighborhood. It was founded in 1901, so our house is older. How do you like that?
Amazing.
Take that, Toledo Museum. It's an artist community, I think, more than anything. Is that's what I love about it. Is there's a lot of weird, quirky people here, and let's face it, I'm pretty weird and quirky, right? I mean, I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Just looking at the way I'm dressed right now. That was probably
Can you take
not
that out?
No, I'm leaving
There's
that
a
in.
little tiny ash
Because you should have known better than that, Tom. You're a tech guy.
Yeah,
you don't blow
distracted.
in a microphone.
Never,
sir.
ever blow into a microphone.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Ever.
That's right. You can kiss it.
Because the air actually hits the diaphragm in the microphone.
Yes.
Directly.
Mm-hmm.
And you can introduce moisture and everything else. You're supposed to tap on it to test it if you want to, or talk into it.
Yeah. Jack Ford.
Yeah.
Jack Ford.
That's how he did his mic checks back in the day.
Right. Yeah. Tom and I used to work at a little TV station, Channel 48, TV 48.
A lot of
look at
local
your shirt.
television.
There,
Look
dude.
at that. See?
You should probably worry about your shirt and not the microphone. I'm just saying.
Well, it's equipment, so I was concerned about it. It was landed right up here on top of this black piece right here.
I see. Well, thank you for your concern.
I should have
for
just
my
knocked it off.
equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're sweet like that.
I'm responsible.
Yep. The Old West End is known for its diverse inclusiveness and diversity in both race and socioeconomic status.
Wait, say that one more time?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure.
I stepped off mic, or I moved off mic in the middle of it.
I heard you, but I didn't.
We're known for the inclusiveness and diversity, both in race and socioeconomic status. So, you know, how much money people have. These houses are not perfect. They're 100 years old or more. So, you know, you can get one that's not in great shape and live there while you fix it up a little bit at a time. You know, it's not like you have to have $1 million to move into this neighborhood. No. You don't. But, you know, some of the houses are, you know, of $300,000 or more.
Yeah,
so I mean,
right.
there's some really
for what you get. It is extremely cheap. Your house here, if you were to pick it up and plop it down out west somewhere, it would be well into the millions, multi-millions.
Yeah, it's huge. 3,800 square feet, plus a fully finished attic and a basement. Not included in that footage. So probably 5,000 square feet ish.
Yeah, it's pretty sizable.
It is. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I really. The funny thing is, no matter how big it is, you always find stuff, and you're like, you know, we fill this house with. It's full. It's full of stuff, man. It's full of stuff. It's crazy how you still fill up, no matter how big the container is. You will fill it.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yep.
And I still have stuff in storage from the Kimcident.
Oh yeah. The Kimcident, I like that.
Episode 1, if you're interested, but it's kind of negative. But I had to get it out, man. I had to get it out. You know, I don't know. I'm not going back to that. We'll leave it at that for now.
We should make some drops that include the Kimcident.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Kimcident.
Kimcident.
Block parties and porch music. There, it's right there. There are regular neighborhood gatherings in the Old West End that happen on the front porches. Because most of these houses, I saw one today that just had a stoop, and I thought, oh God, can you imagine? You buy this huge, multi-$100,000 house in the Old West End, you know, and then you don't have a porch. because that's where all the partying happens. That's where all the fun, like people hang, and not even partying. Every morning I get up and I drink my coffee out here and I practice my guitar and I hang out and I wave at the neighbors. You know,
What do you mean by stoop?
I mean, like just the
Literally-
steps where the steps just come up to the door and there's
Yeah.
like maybe a little concrete at the top of it.
Did something happen maybe to the original porch at one time?
I don't
wonder if
know.
there's
I
any
didn't get that
historical
far into
photographs
it.
you can-
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get into it that far.
I was just
occurred to
wondering
me-
if it looked like it was part of the
occurred
original
to me,
house or
it
not.
looked like it probably was, but it definitely did not. I mean, it's funny because every once in a while too, you'll run into a house in this neighborhood that is so tiny. It's like, or like so modern looking that it's like, oh my gosh, can you imagine being the one who lives in that house? Like you've got all these cool houses around you. And then you're in the one that looks like your grandma's house. You know, not yours specifically, but like a grandma's house.
A grandma's house.
You know, little two bedroom or one bedroom, little teeny tiny house. That's what my grandma lived in, you know.
Jeez, don't burn the place down there, Brady.
I'll try. I got, you know. We have joked about being on this porch and accidentally committing a hate crime a la, what's his name? Larry David.
Right.
It seems like a Larry David skit because we sit here and we smoke these cigars on the porch sometimes when we're not doing podcasts because typically we do them indoors, right? And this flag blows like crazy.
Yeah, the one just right above you there in the
Yeah,
shop.
yeah. It says
It might be out of the safe area.
It
Well,
says
now
keep
now
the
you can
old
see
West
it.
End weird on
Yeah.
it, and it's it's pride
Yeah.
colors. Hi guys, and so
Is that why it's colored like
that's
that?
not what that one says. Actually,
Oh.
no, I think
Is it
that
the
one
other
over
one?
there
I
says
don't know
keep
if we-
the
no,
old
we
West
can't
End
see
word.
it.
You can't see it,
Can't see it on that
but
one.
that's okay. This one here. Oh, it says Old West End, all are welcome, and it's pride
Yeah.
colors, and it's got the
Even me.
trans, even the it's got all the LGBTQ colors on it, and
What's the black color mean?
I don't know what any of the colors
Okay.
mean, Tom.
All right.
I am a boring ass cis white straight male. I mean, I play well with
that's
others. I
funny.
love people. I don't
Yeah.
care who you sleep with. I don't care what junk is in your pants. It's none of my business. That's how I see it. But no, but myself, I mean, I love the love here. I love the fact that people just everybody's fine. Everybody's cool. Like there's no, oh, I don't like him because he such and such, you know, whatever. I mean, it's not like that here. Everybody is cool and loves everybody else, unless you're like anti that. Unless you're like, I mean, you probably wouldn't want to wear a red ball cap in this neighborhood, would be my guess. I feel like there's more than one people, including my wife, who would jump on that real fast, and you would not be very happy.
I'll
Somebody
test it.
posted in the.
Let me test it.
Somebody posted recently, and I'm not even going to say a name because I don't know it. But somebody posted in the Old West End group trying to drum up business for their bakery, and somebody commented, "No, you somebody I know went in there to get a cake made for their wedding, and you wouldn't do it because it was a same-sex wedding. You're in the wrong place." So there were all these people getting very up in arms very fast about, if you're not
Bakery in
inclusive,
this
we're not
neighborhood or
interested.
something?
I
or
don't
what?
think
Or-
so. I think
I mean,
it was
do you
kind
really think
of
it was
like
a troll or something? Maybe.
no, I think it was probably
Yeah.
somebody who's a small business owner and is trying to just put the word out. So they go to all the different neighborhood groups
Right.
and try to, drum up business. But that is the one thing that will kind of piss people off in this neighborhood, I think, is not being inclusive. Not being cool with everything. Because if you're going to be judgmental about the way people live their lives and it's none of your business, then, why would you advertise here? So people jumped all over that. I'm not that person. I did comment though and say, I think maybe you could explain if there's a story.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Tell your
really.
story.
Wouldn't you like to see that?
Sure. Yeah. Tell us what
Yeah.
happened. If things have changed,
Yeah.
that's cool. You can, whatever, but you're not going to get a lot of business here if you're intolerant of different lifestyles.
Let's be honest. I'm only taking a guess. It sounds like a troll to me. Because if you're going to set up shop in here, you would kind of know basically how things go, wouldn't you?
No, well, I think that this person
Or am I
probably is
misunderstanding?
not in the Old West End. I think that they probably have a bakery like out of their home or whatever in
Okay.
Toledo, and they're just going into the Perrysburg group, the Maumee group, the Sylvania group,
Yeah.
the Old West End group, the Point Place group, and just putting up ads. You know what I mean? Trying to advertise, drum up business. And it just happened they stepped into the wrong one because there are an
Oh,
awful
it
lot
just
of people
straight over into
who very vehemently oppose, people not being inclusive. Why wouldn't you be inclusive? If you're trying to make money, it's fine, Tom. If you're trying to make money, why would you refuse to make a cake for anybody that wants a cake?
right. Yeah, unless you had limitations of the manufacturing of it for some reason.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean that's.
I would hope they would be
not based on who was asking for it or what their interests were. I mean, to me, that's BS. But
gotcha.
But what do I know? I'm just some guy. I mean, I'm not an expert on any of this, but I love this place and I fit in. And that is the one thing though that I would be careful about. There's not going to be like good luck putting on your KKK hood in this neighborhood or your MAGA hat or your, Hitler or your Nazi, whatever, neo-Nazi armband. Yeah. It's not going to fly here. There are places that it might.
Yeah.
Sadly.
In Toledo?
In Toledo or outside of Toledo, kind of, on the edges of town. That's the thing is it's mostly uneducated people on the outskirts of town. Let's not get that political, though.
That's a current event, kind of current to the times. So.
Somebody stop
give yourself some credit.
I just talk and
I'll stop you if you want.
Stop. Yeah, stop. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Enough.
What would I have done if it wasn't for Tom to save me from myself? Oh, man. So in the late 19th century and early 20th century, we had a streetcar accessible we were accessible by streetcar out here.
Yes.
You could ride a streetcar out to the Old West End from downtown.
Proud to say my grandfather actually worked on the street installing rail and cobblestone. Yep.
Oh.
According to my father.
Always nice to hear about an old man laying some rail.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never knew my grandfather, but
I'm sorry.
But he did work early in the Toledo history, putting down cobblestone and everything else.
Yeah, one of my grandfathers built Davis Bessie.
The
cooling tower.
Yeah.
He was a roofer, and that was what he did. But he was like a big company roofer apparently back in the day. But he did a lot of the sealing on sealing, not the ceiling. Like
the ceiling.
Sealing of the concrete or whatever they're made out of. I don't know.
And you're talking about the cooling towers?
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about reactors that are
nuclear reactors. Yes.
That we have east of here.
Yeah, east of here, between here and Sandusky.
Yeah.
So they're not in Toledo, but just an interesting, odd grandfather story that
Toledo tidbit for people.
Actually,
that don't know.
I was born. I don't know if you know this, Tom. I was born in the Old West End.
No, I did not know that.
I didn't. Yeah, it just occurred to me.
In a house?
No,
because there's no hospitals here that I know of.
They're not anymore.
Oh, really?
They said that this guy Brady was born here, and we got to make sure this never happens again. So they tore that bitch down.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You're being serious right now, right?
Yeah, Parkview Hospital.
Parkview. It sounds familiar.
Parkview Hospital. Yep.
Okay.
Look it up.
Parkview Hospital.
Yep. Maybe I can find a picture and throw it up or something.
No kidding. And where was it from where we are right now? Any idea?
It's what is the name of that high rise? There's that high rise apartment complex kind of near Monroe and Bancroft.
Yeah.
It was kind of across the street from that.
Was it the Executive Towers or something?
Yes, Executive Towers. I couldn't remember the name.
No kidding.
I'm getting old.
Wow.
Happy festival to you. So I was born in Parkview Hospital in the Old West End, and it looks like from the pictures that we pulled up recently, looking at it, it looks like it wasn't like a big, tall, high-rise kind of a hospital. It was more like a 2 or 3 story building,
neighborhood hospital type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know exactly where my parents lived at the time when I was born.
Yeah.
I feel like West Toledo, like not Old West End, but West Toledo, which is North Toledo, basically.
Yeah.
The none of the neighborhoods make any sense the way that they're named.
Yeah.
Hey guys, those guys live over there.
Oh, you know them? They're
I
neighbors.
do. Yeah.
Oh, very nice people.
Yeah.
So, when did they rip it down?
I don't know. We'll have to research that and find out. I don't know for sure.
Mine is still standing, by the way.
Yours is See, they took the big chance there to have another Tom.
Well, it's a Toledo hospital, so it's pretty huge.
Oh, that's true. Plus, you had a bunch of brothers born after you, so
3. Yep.
3 other brothers, 3 other boys.
Yep.
All boys, not a single Stamos girl.
Nope. Flower Hospital.
Am I allowed to use your last name? Should I?
I don't know.
That out?
What do you think? I don't know if we need to or not.
No, it's fine.
But
it's
anyway,
fine.
I don't think they have any records. Yeah.
You showed my Facebook earlier with my full name on it, so it's
They
fine.
couldn't see it. Could you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Let me
don't
see.
care. I'm not that worried about it.
I didn't even think about that. Let's scrub this footage really well.
Let's just quit. We're just going to end
I
this
need
now.
counters so I could actually flag where to take stuff
Right.
out. Or we
do
can just
need
look
that.
at things.
We should work on that in the future. We need
We'll do
more
it.
tech.
Yeah.
Maybe we get the 7-year-old
Yeah.
to produce this podcast, and he can even switch it and do the audio mixing and stuff, and give us something to extra.
As long as we
It'll
check
help.
the levels, I think we should be okay.
During the Great Depression, this neighborhood saw a decline in the mid 20th century, but has been experiencing a great revival since the 70s.
how about that?
Basically since I was born.
Oh, you sparked
It
it, huh?
rebirthed the neighborhood. And I wasn't even here myself. I mean, I didn't live here. I was just born here.
Yeah.
I immediately was shipped back to West Toledo and lived there for a lot of my life. Went to Bedford High School.
That's right. You lived in Michigan.
I lived in Michigan for a little bit of it, and then now I'm in the Old West End, like back home, I guess.
And my earliest memory of where you lived was in Point Place.
Yeah, I went to elementary school in Point Place from second grade. Second grade, because my parents divorced when I was, I think, around kindergarten. There, I was 6. My parents divorced. So my mom moved, and I changed schools a couple times. So I went to Riverside Elementary, Whittier for first grade.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
Weird.
and then started in second grade Ottawa River, out in the mayfly infested Point Place. I don't remember mayflies when I was a kid though.
It might be a seasonal. Well, it is a seasonal thing, I guess.
It's
but
a
maybe
seasonal
it's a
thing, but
conditional
I mean, I
thing or
wonder
something.
if
Conditions
maybe
probably
it's
have
all
to be
the
just right or
all the
something,
algae or whatever.
Yeah.
So, according to this, Toledo's elite were the most prominent families in Toledo used to live here, including glass barons and industrialists. So
Yeah, Libby's.
Libby's, of course. The Libby House is very nice. We did do
I've
a
been
tour
to
of
it
that.
years ago. Very, very nice structure.
Yeah. I did a photo shoot in this says there's a historic mansion turned bed and breakfast. You know Mansion View Inn? Have you been there?
No.
So Mansion View Inn's on Collingwood. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice. I mean, now that I'm here, maybe it's not as cool because our house is pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Hi guys. I did a photo shoot there once actually. It's a bed and breakfast. So
Oh,
I'm a boudoir photographer.
What's the name of it again?
Mansion View Inn.
I kind of remember something about that. Many years ago, you did something over there.
Yep,
might
I
have
did.
seen some
I just
stills
spent a
from
day
that stuff,
shooting
yeah.
over there with a model, or
Yeah.
getting some pictures. It was good. It was a good experience. It was good. I mean, there were some really the photos turned out well. I probably won't share them. I might.
Well,
I don't. They'd be.
But you did. I mean, knowing you
revealing.
took a lot of the actual location itself to showcase the house. So you probably have some of those, don't you?
Maybe. I might have
like
to go
the
back and look.
spaces that you used to.
I'm not doing that much research for this, Tom. Don't.
No,
don't,
I mean it's stuff that you already have.
well, I know
because
to find it. Yeah, my archives are enormous.
Gotcha. So
I have 2 or 3 hard drives that are still kind of missing in action since the Kim debacle. I don't know if they're in storage or not.
The Kimsident.
Kimsident, sorry. Yes. So I don't know yet. And my photography archive is there. I mean, I have finished photos that have been edited and everything on my laptop, for example, and online. However, the hard drives with all the backups and the full size images and everything, I don't know exactly where they are right now.
Well, hopefully they'll not.
I'm pretty confident that they're in storage. I can't imagine.
So they're safely lost, which means that they'll turn up
Kim
sometime.
came into my room and took guitars and a TV off the wall, but I kind of doubt she dug through my stuff and looked for hard drives. That would be weird. So I'm sure that I still have them. I just don't have access to them, so I probably won't be able to put any of my own photos of Mansion
Maybe
View
not
in
for this,
into
but hopefully they'll turn up so at least you
this.
have them and they're not lost.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
They will
This
turn up.
button
I'm
is really
confident.
sticky.
Oh.
This button keeps popping inputs.
Okay, cool.
So, anyway.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this neighborhood is that, like, we live right across from an apartment complex, 4-story apartment complex that's like 2, I don't know how many apartments per floor. It's 2 to 4 per floor, I think. And it's right among, but it's old. It's right among the among all of these old houses, and it's old. It's got columns and it's pretty and everything. But a lot of the other
I'll send that to you also.
Yeah,
so
okay.
so you have it.
A lot of the other houses in the neighborhood, they're too big for people to like be able to rent. Like it wouldn't be. We were looking at like doing maybe a real estate thing or having a rental property. The thing is, these houses are so big, you're not going to make any money renting out a whole house. So what a lot of people have done is they've turned them into duplexes or 4 apartments in a house, in an old, huge 4,000 square foot house. They break it up, and now they got, 4 1,000 square foot apartments that they can rent out to people who are like traveling nurses or just want to live in this neighborhood, but are, more of a starving artist kind of a situation. That makes sense?
Makes perfect sense, except for the question would be, look who it is out there.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just charge accordingly for, renting it out to the whole thing?
Well, I mean, I think it's when you rent it, when you pay that much for the property, it doesn't pay. You're not going to end up paying for your mortgage or whatever in order to rent it out. The people who want to live in the Old West End in a huge house can afford to buy one.
Right.
And if they can, they're not going to rent one. So the rent would be too high, I think, to be a reasonable price point for most people. The most people who would rent.
Right. Makes sense. I see.
Just like us, we wouldn't.
Unless there's professionals.
Well,
unless you're a professional, then you're new to the area, maybe. I would think. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know about how they do things like that here.
For sure.
But just a thought, because I'd rent one of these.
Yeah. Could you? Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean,
there's that. I guess you could. You could try. You could
see if I want to buy something out here.
Yeah. We'll rent you. We'll get a place for you, Tom. We'll get you out.
I'll bet you do.
Robinwood Avenue, where we live, is listed here as the Grand Boulevard, featuring a beautiful canopy of mature trees and some of the neighborhood's most stunning homes.
There were some beauties that I saw walking toward the museum when I tried to catch up with you guys the first time.
Yeah, and the Roper Romp.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, a lot of beautiful houses over here. Yep. That I could tell you.
Yeah, and let's see. And we're not far from Ottawa Park, which is one of the largest parks in the area. Hello.
Mrs. Roper just went by in that golf cart over there.
Mrs. Roper went by. I love it. There's still some ropers out there roping around or romping around. In fact, our goose on the porch is dressed in a Pride outfit and a Mrs. Roper wig right now. Don't know if you noticed that over there, Tom, up on the barrel.
Yeah, I see that.
Maybe we'll take a picture if we remember. This talks about urban wildlife, too, in the area that, which I was like, urban wildlife, what does that mean? That kind of sounds like...
probably wildlife that drifted into the city neighborhoods and so forth.
That is what they meant, but my first thought was, what? Armed people? I don't know what that. What's an urban wildlife?
The human variety. You mean?
Yeah, like owls, hawks, even foxes and stuff. Make appearances. In fact, I did see not too long ago. I saw some deer right over in one of these yards.
A lot of deer show up in Toledo, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they're like kangaroos in Australia. They're real plentiful here.
Right. I think the government's trying to sabotage us. Oh, yeah. Dead battery.
Oh, battery died on the phone. What are the chances? And that one was at almost 100%. So I wonder how we're doing on this one.
I don't know.
Just lean in a little bit and we'll be all right. Okay. We'll figure this out. I'm kind of haloed with the
right. Let's take a look.
Backlit a little bit. Maybe I can reduce that like this. Lean in a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. So we're still doing the live stream, I guess, or at least the podcast. We'll see what's going on and what happens. We are on one camera now, and it is what it is. We'll just keep going.
I mean, we needed a 2-shot anyway, but the hookup.
We had a 2-shot going back there where we would look over our shoulders, but we couldn't. We were having problems getting it to stream.
All sorts of problems.
Yeah, we had so many technical problems. One of my favorite things about the Old West End, there's a bunch of different mansions in the area, but is the ghost stories.
Oh.
We've got a ghost here, I think. I'm not really sensitive to those things, so I'm not an expert. I don't consider myself an expert. But we've got one of those touch faucets You touch it to
I
turn it
know.
on,
Yep.
touch it to turn it off. And that thing comes on and goes off all the time.
I saw it once, actually.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. I'll be sitting there and I'm old enough to
Yeah.
remember when you had like a dishwasher that you moved across and hooked up to the
portable
taps.
apartment size.
You hooked it up to your hot and cold water. So back then, the you would hear when it drained, it would just drain into the sink, right? Like when it got to that part of the cycle. So my first thought is usually, oh, the dishwasher's going, which is not accurate. We don't have that kind of a dishwasher, right? But it's weird because it'll just come on, and then sometimes it'll shut right off. Sometimes it'll stay on forever. But I've found that when I acknowledge it, it tends to go off. Like when I say,
so when you turn to look at it,
if I say, okay, I see you, or thank you, or whatever, you can turn it off now. It goes off most of the time, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
The former residents here said in this house that when they were when the wife was pregnant with one of the babies, she was carrying some laundry down the servant steps, the windy circle stairs in the back, and she fell. She started to fall. She slipped and started to fall backwards, like onto her butt.
Yeah.
And that she felt hands grab her under her armpits and lower her gently to the stairs. And apparently this house was the house of a midwife at some point, historically.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's kind of cool. Like, that makes sense. Like, if you're going to have a ghost, that's the kind of ghost to have, right? I mean, the one that's going to help you and not push you down the stairs. You don't want the demon from Ghost Adventures that's going to push you down the stairs. You want, a nice, happy ghost that's going to do nice things and help you out and do the dishes.
Do the dishes. That's
what I'm hoping, that maybe the ghost is just warming up to do the dishes. That's the turning on is the water is the first step toward doing the dishes for us.
Almost a symbolic gesture or something.
Yeah, if we could get this ghost to do some laundry, the ghost can stay, as far as I'm concerned.
If you ever have some time, set up a camera on that faucet.
Yeah.
Just see what happens. How often does it happen, by the way?
That's a good, it's pretty random.
It's probably sporadic.
Yeah, and it is so, like, it'll happen 3 times in a day, and then it won't happen for weeks.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of sporadic. I mean, it's very hard to predict. Speaking of which, supposedly our neighbors across the street on the corner. Now, I don't know if this is true, so I don't want to spread a rumor, but I've been told that they are ghost hunters or paranormal investigators. However, I just heard another interesting rumor about them, so I guess I am spreading rumors. And that rumor,
well, you're not saying it as fact. You're saying you heard that it's a possibility.
I heard this, and it's probably maybe not true.
Yeah.
But I also heard that they identify as vampires.
Oh, that would be an interesting story.
Yeah.
To talk to them down the road.
For sure. Yeah. I do know they had some damn good music playing on the porch. They were he's in a band, lead singer of the band, I think, and they had somebody from a big, well-known international band was doing percussion, I guess, according to the post on Facebook. But we haven't met them yet, mostly because their entrance is on the side, like their cars and everything are on the side street. Like their house faces us, but their garage where they always go in and out is on the other side of the house. So we don't see them like we do our other neighbors, because they're out and, getting in and out of their cars like we do. So Mansion View Inn supposedly has a ghost. They say guests and staff there have reported cold spots, footsteps, lights flickering, and a figure of a woman in period clothing on the staircase. I did not have that experience there, but that's really cool. I'm really interested in this stuff, but I haven't really had any paranormal experiences, to tell you the truth. Not many, other than our ghost here.
The faucet.
Yeah, the faucet, right. According to this, the background is that the house has changed hands many times and that there was a rumor of a tragic death involving one of the previous owner's daughters.
Oh.
So she is supposedly possibly the ghost that is haunting the Mansion View Inn. It's got to be kind of weird. I do remember that was a cool, creepy vibe, though. It was kind of a creepy, cool place. That's right. I also officiated a wedding there once.
You did?
Yeah, I'm so.
Oh.
Whoops. So technically,
Yeah.
I've been married to a lot of women, but I also married a man once. I mean, I married him to a woman.
Yeah,
but,
you
but
didn't.
I didn't marry him myself.
Scared me for a minute there.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I should do? Let me record on my glasses.
Oh yeah.
Here.
There you go.
Oh, are they even on?
I don't know.
Nope, they're not. They're
Get some
turning on
B-roll.
now. All right. Well, let's
Live
move on to the
B-roll.
Libby house
Yeah.
while we go on.
Yeah. All right,
Libby
go ahead,
house
Libby
says
house.
that they hear glasses clinking when nobody's there and shadows moving, and then the feeling of being watched in the upstairs room. We did go on a tour there not too long ago, and it was a cool place, but I didn't get any weird vibes. I remember that there was a window on the second floor that that looked out over the main floor and felt a lot like.
Are we safe?
I don't know. It felt a lot like it looked a lot like Juliet, like the Romeo and Juliet
Right.
thing. Like you could look
Yeah.
down on the other people. Wherefore art thou, Juliet? That kind of thing. So let's
Get some live B-roll.
Yeah,
to
me
be
too.
Put in later.
I've got the camera on the glasses going, I think. Nope. No, I don't. There it is. So there's Tom.
That's me.
There
who's-
is the wife and the kids coming up on in the front. And in that playpen thing there is the
Oh yeah, that's
bearded
right. I do
dragon.
have some of that from earlier. I can give you, and you can splice it in.
That's cool.
Or you did splice it in if we're seeing it right now.
That's right. I
later.
must have. I'm
If this
sure I
is
did.
later,
I'm really, really,
yeah.
good at that. The theory of the for the Libby house is that Edward Drummond Libby's deep attachment to his home and his role in shaping the Toledo glass empire is why you hear glass. That sounds a little fabricated to me. That sounds like
it's
a
a little bit of a
stretch.
stretch.
We'll say a stretch.
I concur.
Yeah, 2244 Scottwood Avenue. There's claims of a woman. This is the Reynolds Secor house. The woman in white seen walking past second-story windows. Oh, we should go
Yeah.
sit out in front of that place for a
but
while and see
check
what
that
happens.
Stuff out.
Stalker.
We're north of 110 in case you wanted to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think we just kind of smoke our cigars and we see where we get.
All right. Yeah,
you're
I'm
okay with
interested in
that.
the rest of especially the rest
Sure.
of the north.
Yeah,
Old
we'll,
West End
we'll
stuff,
at least
I mean.
do the
Yeah.
hauntings.
Sure.
The theory is
the very
that
least.
Edward. Let's see. Oh, that's I'm back at the other one. One of the earliest homes in the district, the Reynolds Secor house that I was just talking about, the woman in white. They suggest it was briefly used as a boarding house during the Depression, and strange things occurred there. What's a strange thing during the Depression?
Could be
I
anything.
guess. Yeah, if I'm broke enough, I'll do a lot of
Strange
things,
occurrences or
you
something?
know, I'm not gay, Tom, but $20 is $20. Then there's the Pink House on Robinwood near Delaware, which is right up the street, up there. It's just called the Pink House. Maybe it's a tribute to John Mellencamp.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, locals say there's an eerie child's laughter, despite no children having lived there in years. And the creepy clue, it says, is that the basement has a sealed up room with a window facing inward that's never been explained by the owners. I don't know. I should tell a story here, though, about I did have a weird, this is a Halloween story, and I don't think that the basis of it is true, but it was a cool experience for a Halloween party.
Yeah.
I don't recall if you were there, because this is, I think,
Probably
the
not.
Halloween party where our buddy Steve showed up dressed as a cheerleader.
No.
In a
I remember that
platinum blonde
picture.
wig, a platinum
remember that
blonde wig
picture.
with his, typical 5 o'clock shadow, and Tom-like complexion, and so we're having this party, and one of the guys says, "I am sure that I've been in this house before. It's so weird. I'm positive that I've been in this house before." And then finally, after a while, he's like, "I figured it out. I did the basement here. I waterproofed the basement here. And dude, I got to tell you, there is this crazy thing in the basement. We moved aside this cloth on the wall, and there's a piece of plexiglass that just looks into this like cavernous area under your house. And there was a casket in it. It was an old lady who lived by herself, supposedly. Older lady, I guess I should say. And somehow he was convinced that it was her husband. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, like, okay.
So was it actually occupied, or was it basically an empty surplus
Right. Well,
casket or something like
here's
that.
the thing. I'm like, you're full of crap, dude. There's no window in my basement. So he's like, no, let's go down. Let's go down. So we all traipse down there in our costumes. I wish I could remember what I was dressed like. It wasn't a cheerleader. I'm pretty sure I couldn't pull that off. But just Mrs. Roper. I can pull off Mrs. Roper, chubby Mrs. Roper. But we went down to the basement, and he had to get himself oriented and everything. And finally, he's like, I think it was right over there. There were metal shelves, like basement or garage metal shelves there with a bunch of stuff on them. And I had never investigated it, but behind it was like a piece of canvas hanging on the wall. We moved those shelves and pulled open the canvas, and there was a piece of plexiglass with a big cavernous hole behind it. But there was no casket. So my guess, and I God love him, I think that he knew about that from being there, and he made the casket up to make it a cool, creepy Halloween story. But if not, that's an interesting story. We didn't run into any problems with ghosts or hauntings or demons or anything at that time, so who knows? But we are still recording. I just had to check.
Okay.
Let's go to another. Oh, here's an unnumbered house on Collingwood Boulevard near Woodruff. Has people walking by at night have reported a flickering candle in the window, even though the house has been vacant for years. And it says a former medium once lived there and was said to conduct seances in the attic. I just see you internally biting your tongue. It wasn't Kim, I don't think. It might have been Madam. Maybe it was that Madam Cersei.
Oh, yeah.
She was pretty active, I think, in the Old West End.
Our early television where we ran
Lady
into her.
Lady Cersei, right? Was that what they called her? I don't know. Whatever she was, she was a self-professed witch.
More than likely, people around here that date back that far probably know about her.
Oh, for sure. And
I gotta tell you though, she was a very, very nice lady.
Yeah, she was.
Very,
she was really
very nice
nice.
lady.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we met her. We hung out with her a little bit at the TV station back in the day, back in the Johnny Ginger days. He had her on the show, I think.
Yeah. She was on one show or the other. It might have been his. I think
she was on more than one show. I think
Probably.
over time.
More than likely.
She liked doing that stuff. The other one, and it's not on here, but Collingwood Arts Center. That's a 100-year-old, more than that, 120-year-old now. I think it was turn of the century. It was like 1900s-ish. 120-year-old building that was built to be a convent, right?
Yes.
It was a convent. Most of the rooms in this building are like 6 by 6. They are tiny. I mean, you cannot imagine living. And people did. Artists lived there because they turned it into an artist place. You could live there and have a studio there, that kind of thing. They've since, I believe, ended that because the city decided they couldn't have people living there anymore.
I thought there were some issues structurally.
I think there were some issues with the boiler or
Yeah.
something structural. There was some kind of a physical thing that was going to cost way too much
Yeah,
money for them
unfortunately,
to continue to allow it to happen.
They couldn't keep up with it, maintenance and stuff, and I think that's kind of what led to the downfall.
You know who
of
was
that.
doing maintenance there last time I was over there?
No.
Our old friend Marty Miller.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I ran into Marty Miller. He was he
kidding.
owned Channel 48
Yeah,
after
old
the
DIV guy from up in Detroit.
Right, after the Moores got rid of it. Bob Moore and what was Denny
Schaefer. Or not
Nope.
Schaefer, that's the radio guy.
Yeah.
Long.
Denny Long and Bob
Yeah.
Moore used to own TV 48 back
I
in the
knew
day.
people
but they
who knew
sold
Denny
it.
Schaefer, though.
Eventually, they sold it to Marty Miller, and he was working there doing maintenance, smiling, happy, seemed
Interesting.
happy. But it was a strange. It was unexpected to find him doing that.
Right.
This house here was built in 1891, and the 1892 Toledo Polk Directory listed Laura Burnett and the widow of Mark Burnett living here. Mark Burnett died in 1891 at age 33.
While he was building it, so he built it, had it built.
Yeah, and then the couple were
wow.
buried, both buried in Woodlawn Cemetery. Most of the people,
That's historic.
a lot of the historic people here are born, are buried in Woodlawn. It seems like.
Right.
Yeah, there's more. I mean, there is a lot of information here about our house, but I don't know that anybody really cares that much about this specific house.
Well, I mean,
I care about it.
It's still a
because
house
it's
here.
our house.
I'm curious anyway because it's
Yeah.
still historically relevant to the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Well,
and you have inside information about the house. So,
right. And then the 1900. Let's see. Actually, Matthias Smalley, a U.S. Marshal, resided here in 1898 along with his wife and children. Horace B., Lucille R., Stella A., and Stanley B. Smalley. 1900, it looks like Charles Smith, a physician, was a resident, and Dr. Charles N. Smith was, 234 Michigan, resided in his home until 1907. So I'm not sure if he moved or what that. I'm confused by that particular entry. But, then Dr. Smith's father, Milo Smith, lived here until he died at age 66, buried again in Woodlawn Cemetery.
wow.
And between 1903 and 1905, Mary Fuller boarded here. She was a widow of Stephen M. Fuller, who died in 1899, and then she died in 1916, both of them, again, Woodlawn Cemetery. Dr. Smith died in 1921 and was buried in the cemetery. Arian Wilson occupied this house from 1907 to 1931, was the president of Toledo Title and Trust Company. And his biography appeared in the Toledo and Lucas County, Volume 2, page 510.
Oh, even as in Toledo Trust?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
No kidding,
kind of
right
interesting.
here.
Yeah, right here in this house. Looks like late Gallagher was the Wilsons' live-in domestic in 1907, Dora Sheets in 1925, and Mary Landman was their maid from 30 to 31. Marguerite Gilson, the widow of Allen, was a nurse in 1914 who also lived here. Like a lot of cool and interesting information that all of the research has been done for most of these houses, and you can find it. You don't really even have to go and dig into stuff. You can just check with the local resident historian. Jenny Walden was a live-in maid from 36 to 38. Naomi Merchant in 1940, and Catherine Fleur was the maid in 41. Wayne and Jeannie Schauacker and the daughter Suzanne lived here in the 50s in 1950. Jenny Mount bought the house in August of 72. Philip Newman in September of 78, and Lillian Ashcroft Eason in August of 1995. And then we bought the house from the Dandridges, who moved in since in August of 2006. So
to me that's fascinating.
It's fascinating that you can
regardless
know
of who has the house.
Everybody who lived in your house that's kind of an interesting. That's a quirk of this area that much research has been done on any house. So we should probably consider wrapping this up. I guess it is getting late.
And
hi guys. We are
getting some questions as to cutaways from the fest.
Okay.
Why we can't do that? Maybe you can explain that.
Well, we're gonna put them in
because it's a live
in
thing,
the edit.
Yeah,
we just did not have the time
setup,
to get everything ready to roll it in, but we will add a bunch of footage in because we shot a bunch. The parade route is literally right in front of this house.
A couple more things really quick.
Yeah.
What do you know or what do you have about the I-75 ruining this area back when they put that in? Did you?
No, I didn't and I never got to watch the documentary in preparation for this. Okay. There's a good documentary. What's it called? Do you remember? The Magic of the Old West End or something?
Like that, yeah.
I thought I thought that title caught me because I thought, oh, it's about magicians.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
No.
So, but I do want to watch it. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Tom, you've seen it though, right?
I did see it. It was a while ago, but they did mention I-75 basically destroying many, many houses that were a lot like this one.
Oh.
When they first put it in there.
That's a shame, yeah.
Yeah. And something else. I can't think of anything else, but that was it.
That's cool. I mean, that stinks, but that's an interesting fact, I guess.
Interesting fact.
It's not cool at all. That's terrible.
Let's put another one right through here.
At least we have 75, I guess, and it does go right through here, right? Detroit exit is right down the street from us.
Right.
We're between Detroit and Bancroft exits, basically. So, really easy to get here by 75.
Yeah, it makes it a snap to get.
It does make it easy on us, but I feel bad for those houses. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
I think it was in the 50s, but I'll have to go back and look.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us. This has been the first ever live stream for the.
It's true.
Yeah, for the Holy Toledo Podcast. I'm Brady.
Tom.
You are Tom. And I'm going to play the outro music, and we'll see you guys next time.